Hey everyone, John Lordan here. Thank you for joining me on this Brainscratch Searchlight update. It's an unfortunate one. It seems that there is a seventh victim that has been identified that has likely been killed by Bruce McArthur. Another body found in another plant pot. And police are taking a very strange step in trying to identify who this is. So let's learn about this together. Jumping over to nationalpost.com. At a Monday press conference, Toronto Police Homicide Detective Sergeant Hank Itzinga said investigators were taking the unusual step of releasing the photo of a corpse because all other means of identifying the mystery man were unsuccessful. Quote, "I do not want to release this picture, and I'm doing so as a last resort," Itzinga said. "I've never done this. I do it with great hesitation." And I can certainly understand that. Now, what's interesting is it seems like at least one publication received the Photoshop version, I'm assuming the Photoshop copy of the image, because somehow the metadata about all the edits that happen to the pictures is known. So this picture has been significantly touched up, but it's still shocking because you can tell that the person has passed away. But I believe that there has been a lot of cleanup, so you can't see any details about what might have happened to this person. And we don't know in terms of time frame how long this person was in, it's horrible to say this, but was in this planter before they were found. And he's really not being very clear about how they got this photo, but I don't think you need to stretch your imagination here, especially when you see all the edits that were done, the Photoshop retouching that was done to it. So, but he's being very clear here. We need to put a name to this face and bring closure to this man's loved ones. The release was not without controversy. Some critics on social media felt it was insulting and an indignity to the victim. And just to be honest with you guys, I'm not going to show it here because I am also on the fence. And quite honestly, I am seeing some sensationalized articles that are trying to grab attention by the fact that, hey, we've got this photo of a dead guy. And it kind of makes me sick. I would like to think that most of us out here have matured past the point of children in a Stephen King film. But there's this weird thing that I'm conflicted with because police are asking for help. They do need to identify this man. I know that people that watch this channel, there's some people that are concerned about the cases as an observer, and there's other people that are actively trying to help in these cases. So if you are around the Cabbagetown area, if you are someone that feels like you might be able to help in this case, I will have a link directly to the photo in the description box below. It's going to be the first link. I'll also have a link to this article that we're looking at, which includes the photo in there, as well as some video where you can see the detective kind of struggling with this as he's trying to get through this. So I'm putting the information out there. I want to help with this, but I am also conflicted. Obviously, I'm not going to monetize this video. I am not trying to sensationalize this information. I'm trying to get it in the hands of people that might be able to help figure out who this person is. And outside of that, I do want to raise the point of if you're going to Photoshop a person in this way, I don't know why they just didn't make it a completely digital composite sketch of the person. I have seen other cases where they've had postmortem pictures and there are digital artists that can use that as a basis and then create what the likeness would have been when the person was alive. And I don't know why they didn't take that in this direction. I think it would have been a lot less controversial for them, and quite honestly, might be a better tool for the people out there that are looking at this guy trying to figure out, do I know this person? Do I know someone that knows this person? So I'm a little unsure why they stopped at the point that they did in terms of touching up this photo, because I think that a composite, if it was released as a composite sketch, a digital composite, would have been much different than what they've actually done here. Let's jump back over to the article because there's just a little more to touch on and just more about how rough it is on this community and trying to deal with this. Nikki Ward, a Toronto LGBTQ advocate, said everyone she's spoken to in the community thinks the man looks eerily familiar, but also unknown. She also understood the need to release it. Quote, "There is no good way to discover somebody you love has passed away," said Ward. "Releasing the photo may not have been necessary if police had developed more grassroots sources in the community, those familiar with its homeless members and sex workers," she said. There has already been dissatisfaction in the photographic record of the high-profile case. And actually, here's a good example of it. Most of the pictures that we're seeing of Mr. McArthur here show him at home, show him smiling, kind of looking like Santa Claus in some of these. Actually, I think literally dressed up as Santa Claus in some of the photos. One of the criticisms in the community has been that this alleged monster is shown at home with a smile on his face, and the victims are made to look like criminals. And I do think that that is a fair assessment, at least of the photos as I've seen them. I think the Andrew Kinsman photo is probably the only one where I don't think that they took a picture where he looks like a criminal. He looks like a very nice person. He's smiling. He looks like he's hanging out in someone's backyard. But the other photos, they've been pretty rough. And there's even an example in this article where a better photo of one of the victims was provided to police, but it looks like they're not using that. So interesting questions, very tough feelings going on in this area. And just, I see it from both sides. I see what the community is complaining about. I hurt for them, but I see what the detectives are trying to do, and I'm kind of rooting for them. I want them to figure this case out, to identify now 4 victims, to do the footwork to make these convictions stick, and to keep this guy in prison for the rest of his life, quite honestly. That's where I would love to see this land. But this is certainly a very strange turn, and like I said, I feel conflicted about it. I think that they could have done something better with this situation than they actually did, and it would have only taken a little more work by a digital artist. And I know that there's people out there that could have done that photo a bit more justice. And unfortunately, I'm just really conflicted because I'm seeing the media on this kind of misuse this opportunity. It makes me a little sick. So I wanted to be sure that I was not going to be part of that camp, and here I am. Hope you guys appreciate that touch and perspective when it comes to this. But like I said, if you're someone that thinks you can help identify who this person is, if you are near to the people in this case, if you are near to the region in this case, please check out the first link in the description box below. I'm warning you, this is a post-mortem picture, but other than that, it is not graphic. You're not going to see any type of wounds or anything of that nature. And I hope someone out there can really help with this. This is just another bizarre twist in a nightmare of a case. Thank you so much for hearing this, for hearing me out on this. I really appreciate each and every one of you out there that cares about these cases, but really that cares about this case in particular. I've made a couple of strong connections with a few people in particular over this case. And I really feel for you guys out there. Anyway, everyone, take care, and I will have another Brainscratch Searchlight for you today, also focusing on Canada. We're shining the searchlight on Canada. Let's see if there's something we can do to help bring someone home. I hope you'll check out that video as well. If you do, I'll see you there.